turtle.
You're looking so damn fine. You're looking like you fell from the sky. You know you make a grown man cry. I gave it to you.
Heyo, what is up, guys? How's it going? I hope you are all having an awesome Saturday. Today I thought I'd talk about online dating. In the past couple years, it has gained a much broader acceptance in the general public. I have to admit, up until fairly recently, I had an old school view on it, more of a last resort when I'm 40 and single and have my last ounce of semi-good looks left, might as well do it. But as I grew up and I kind of realized that the chances of me randomly happening upon a guy who is my type and looking for a more serious relationship was kind of a long shot. The prospect of what the internet had to offer in that realm became more appealing. Unfortunately, this revelation came once I had already started med school, not in the US. So all of those regular dating sites and all that were not an option anymore. And that's where Tumblr comes in. Obviously, Tumblr is not a dating site. I had been on it probably for about 2 years by that point, and just kind of done my blog and, you know, followed people with similar interests, whatever. But as some of you know, my last relationship started on Tumblr. Obviously, it is not a dating site. But I believe it may just be the best untapped source of potential boyfriends. And this is why. First of all, Tumblr connects people all over the world simply based on your similar interests, and not the superficial interests that dating websites use to match you up. You know, like, oh, I like sports. Oh, I like sports too, that's great. Well, what if they like ice skating and they like football? They're both sports. No. And Tumblr is, the way that I've seen mine, is it's a personal projection of who I know I am as a person, and also kind of like that subconscious me, because you see things on your dash and you're like, oh, that's so cool. I never would have looked that up. And so it in fact is a more accurate representation of who I am as a person than if I had sat there and tried to give a list of these are the things that I am, this is who I am as a person. So inherently, by you having access to their Tumblr, you have access to a very genuine preview of who they very much are. And if you guys are mutually following each other, that means that they saw something in your preview that they really liked as well. So, come on. Second, if things don't work out, you never have to see these people again. Now, okay, this may be kind of true for other dating sites, but Tumblr, you most likely will not be talking to someone who goes to your school or lives in your direct town. Okay, maybe not even in your state or in your country, but definitely not in your close vicinity. Whereas dating sites, you're going to be looking for people near you, and that's the results that they will show you. So you really genuinely could live your life confident knowing you will never see them again if it doesn't work out. So in that, I found that I was much more forthcoming with very honest answers without any sort of filter on them. When you're talking to someone who has no past history with you or your friends or your family or people who know you, there's no history to try and live up to. You can be exactly who you are in that moment and with no retribution. There's no way that that could possibly come back to hurt you. If they don't like that, good for them. You dodged a bullet, and there you go. On to the next, you'll never see them again. So I found that it, in fact, brought out a much more pure version of myself than other guys who I had had regular face-to-face dates with. Third, you will most likely get to know them very well before you guys ever meet. Normal dating sites, there is this kind of understanding that you talk a little bit, you kind of get to know each other, but then, you know, within a couple days of talking online, then you would go and have a date. I know me personally, you put me in that sort of a situation and I tend to freeze. I get nervous, I say stupid things, I don't get my points across clearly or anything like that. And I think it is almost the complete opposite when you're talking to people on different forms of social media, like Tumblr. So you get to have deep conversations, long conversations, and really, really, really get to know them and feel very comfortable with them, most likely before you even meet them, which makes the first meeting so much less awkward and so much better. And lastly, kind of in that same realm, from my experience, you guys talk about things before it happens. So you don't go into, let's just say, adult situations winging it. You both have already discussed preferences and things like that. So it's just that much less stressful and that much more enjoyable, if that makes sense. Now, there are some things that we have to take into consideration. This, unfortunately, is not a foolproof plan. And one of the first things is it might take persistence. The mentality that Tumblr has towards messaging is, I think, very different than most social media sites. People feel very comfortable messaging you, asking you things, even though you don't know each other. And so, in that, the interaction tends to be on a more superficial level, and also it's almost kind of normal and expected to send a couple back and forth, and then when one person stops responding, you just stop messaging. In my experience, it took a couple rounds of mini conversations to finally get my ex to like start talking to me, and later on in our relationship, I had brought it up and he didn't even remember me messaging him before that. So don't take it seriously if a conversation suddenly falls apart. Message him again. If at that point they're not responding, then you can take the hint and move on to the next. But don't be afraid to be persistent, because that's what it probably will take using the Tumblr platform. The next thing to keep in mind is the internet is full of creepers. Please, 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 before you meet up with anyone that you are messaging on Tumblr or whatever, Skype them. That way you get to see that they're a real life person. They are like all the pictures they sent you are, and they're not some like old creepy man that is just trying to abduct you. I do not want any of you guys getting catfished or abducted or anything like that. So please, please, please never meet up with anyone until you've at least had a Skype session. The power of the internet. Do it, please. Taking a more pessimistic turn on things. Just be wary about posting pictures of you guys together on Tumblr. It's exciting. It's awesome. You probably will get immense amounts of support from your followers. Some of his followers will start following you, etc., back and forth. It's all great and dandy. Until maybe something happens and you break up. Then, you know, you could just casually be scrolling through your feed 4 months after you broke up and see pictures of you guys together on someone's blog. And lastly, seeing as Tumblr connects people all over the world, there is a fairly good chance that if it did progress into a relationship, that would be a long-distance relationship. Which is not necessarily ideal, but the way that I saw it was, okay, I never would have done long distance with just someone who I liked. But since you are connected on such a deeper level, it was worth it for me. I'm going to do a whole video on long distance relationships on Tuesday, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, go message that cutie that you are mutually following. You never know, today could be the day that you get yourself a super gorgeous boyfriend off Tumblr, of all places. Who would have thunk it? Alright, I hope you guys are all having a stellar Saturday, and I will see you guys on the other side. Out! To say thank you guys so much. My coming out video that I posted on last Tuesday has been just blowing up. This morning I checked and there's like over 1,000 views on it already. I've gotten nothing but love and support from you guys, and I totally appreciate it. I definitely never expected this sort of a response. So thank you guys so much. I love you, and I'll see you.